gentlemen, boys and girls, live from the Ministry League studios in North Georgia, each week with John the Professor Podine and Paul Superman Sperlin, and with producer Caleb Sampson behind the glass on the Ministry League Network. And on all your other favorite platforms, here with all your ministry talk and the latest in news and sports. It's the John and Paul Show live.
Welcome to the John and Paul Show, brought to you by Ministry League at Ministry League at all your favorite platforms. You probably can't see me, but my background's working out. But this is the John and Paul Show. Appreciate Caleb Sampson for taking care of the show, getting us going. Usually this is on Thursday, but it is today, and then next week we get back into normal action. This is the John and Paul Show. I'm Paul Sperlin. With me, as always, is John Podine, brought to you by the Piedmont Road Church of Christ, Calhoun Church of Christ, and the LJ Church of Christ. And this is the John and Paul Show. John, what's going on?
Hey, good morning, whatever, afternoon, everybody. Hope that you are having a great day. Paul, it is great. I love being here in my living room right here. I know, it's really not. It's like a virtual background, but I just want to say that because it kind of looks kind of cool back here.
Go jump on the couch, John.
Okay. Woo! Go and jump on. No, hope everybody's having a great day. Paul, we're getting ready for the blizzard of 2022 coming through North Georgia.
Not going to happen.
I know. We're going to.
When they talk about it, it's not going to happen.
I know. When they say it's like an inch, that means it's going to be like a flurry or so, maybe. So, hey, hope everybody is staying well. We're glad that you are here today. We got some things we're going to talk about, introduce a little bit. And Caleb, by the way, make sure this is going live on Facebook because I cannot find it right now. And all of that. So maybe it is, and I just don't know what I'm doing. But we're so grateful Caleb's here with us. He's actually in Florence, Alabama for Heritage Alumni Days at Heritage. So
we are live.
Okay, good. Glad that he is here helping us out. And Paul, you're looking good.
You can't see me.
Yes, I can. I can
see
you
really?
I have my glasses on. Yeah, so I wore my glasses. So I can
the screen I see shows a black screen with a little thing going in circles. So I don't see me.
Oh, that's your internet. But no, I see you fine.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I see you.
So don't go cross-eyed or do anything crazy. I got you.
No, you're good.
Well, John, you're looking good too.
Well, thank you. So you're saying you can't see me?
I can see you fine. I just don't see my own screen.
Okay, well that's good.
It's all good.
That's all good. Well, Paul, I know that you've got to be excited about a lot of things that are happening in our existence.
Yes.
I just want to say we got some announcements we're going to talk about here in just a second, but baseball is back.
Baseball is back, and unfortunately, the New York Yankees are at work.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
So if you don't know this, John and I are in North Georgia, and it's safe to say we're Braves fans. And over the past, 3 or 4 months, things have gone pretty much our way. But the lockdown is over, and we're happy about that. We can resume the idea of baseball. The first pitch for opening night obviously will be 2 weeks later than usual. But Freddie Freeman, for now, is still on the market. And that is unacceptable to Braves fans because the New York Yankees have already made contact. So we'll see what happens with that.
You got the Yankees, you got the Dodgers, and even the Rays. Apparently, the Tampa Bay Rays have already offered him a contract. So, I was reading an article actually, Paul, and I know we'll dive more into this maybe later. Reading an article. Chipper Jones was quoted as talking about Chipper Jones was talking about that's why I'm rooting for the Braves in April.
Well, American League, I'll give her American League.
Yeah, the Chipper Jones was quoting saying the Braves just really messed up pre lockout. They should have went ahead and locked it up and everything else. So
they should have locked it up before the season was over last year.
Yep.
They felt like if they didn't do it, they might get.
What really stinks, Oh, it's all about 1 year. It's a 1 year thing. That's what held it up.
It is, but it was also, and we're kind of going reverse order here, but
sorry, I just had to get that off my heart.
No, you're right, and it's where we are. It's what's going on in our world right now, and hopefully people care. But the fact is, the Braves honestly didn't think they'd make it to the World Series. They definitely didn't think they'd win it. So they thought they could get a little more for him if they just wait till the season's over. But turns out he ends up being the stinking MVP for the decade because of the World Series. And he showed out. I mean, honestly, if you go back, his first 6 at-bats were garbage, and the rest of it was legendary. And they're like, oh, we're going to do good with this. But that turns out now he can ask for more money than he probably deserved at one point because of how he performed. And you put a ring on somebody, wedding or not.
If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it.
It becomes a little more expensive.
Butch Jones is calling me right now, Paul. I don't know why Butch is calling me. Probably do know why Butch is calling me, but
nothing to do about that now.
Yeah. But yeah, it is. And they should have locked it up. Just got to admit, just got to say this out loud to our Texas person who's watching this is that, they did beat Houston, beat the Astros in that World Series and dominated them. And Freddie was a big piece of that. And so he's going to get paid. And I really hate to see that. I think every Braves fan is just sick to their stomach. This is something like, honestly, this is just like if Chipper had left, or if when you had your big three when we saw Glavine, Maddox, and Smoltz in other uniforms, it just was like, oh, they're just not right. So yeah, this is that type of thing. It'd been like if Dale Murphy, when he went and played for Philadelphia, and it was just like, oh, that's horrible.
Wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Of course, that day we couldn't even watch him anymore because it was TBS or nothing. When he went to another team, we couldn't see him as often. So, of course, all that's changed now. But
yeah, for sure.
But the Maddox thing was kind of fun because we had to see him in a different uniform at the beginning, not at the end. So that was kind of neat. But
Chase is right. I think because of what's happening, baseball has been passed by the NBA, college football, and NFL. And I think what's happening is people – how do we say this in a nice way? People don't have a lot of patience for when you're arguing over millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
And
the luxury tax of $228 million pushing for people. Oh, yeah, Jerry's actually right. And Jerry, hold on. We're going to get to that thing we talked about earlier in a little
Bobby
bit.
Bonilla. I don't even know how many people remember him.
Man. He gets like $1 million a year for life, or at least for 20 or 30 years.
Yep.
Crazy. But anyway, it was it's just one of those things. And people get distracted when they get let down. Yeah. And of course that can get into, and this is not a show about politics. And obviously we want to make sure and let everyone know our prayers go out to the Ukraine and all the folks that are hurting and just the terrible things that are going on over there. But the fact is, people aren't talking about COVID anymore. Right. The conflict in Ukraine between Ukraine and Russia, and the gas gouging right now is taking over, and it's good night. That's a long time.
Really, 2035. I need a thing like that.
Doesn't everybody?
Yeah, definitely praying for Ukraine in there.
Sure.
You're right, Paul. I was looking actually at the COVID numbers. They're actually about the same that they were last year.
Mm-hmm.
But it shows how politics does change and it's flipped over. And especially with what you see with this and the price gouging and the Ukrainian situation and stuff. I mean, it's crazy what's going on. To fill up my truck right now, it's about $120 on from empty to that. And I'm going to start walking everywhere.
May have to.
Yeah, to do things. So next exposure meeting, Paul, I'm walking to it. So I need to probably start now to get there in time. But
I think it's going to be in Texas. We decided to move it to Rangers.
The Texas Stadium to the ballpark in Arlington.
Yeah.
Yes. I have to see if Juliet can get it hooked up for us.
Good walk. Get started. Let's go. Let's start now.
Yeah. But we do got other stuff. The show's not about baseball today, Paul.
It's just what's happened.
It
That's
is.
our recent events, our current events segment of the show.
But Paul, we do want to tell everybody that there is something, especially those that pay attention to the Ministry League, the Into Global thing in particular, what we're doing, Exposure Youth Camp, that we will and have some seriously exciting news that we will be releasing.
Yes.
I don't know. Are we going to release it today, Paul? Or are we going to make them continue?
No, we're going to keep it going and let people wonder what's coming up. But something's definitely coming up.
Yes, Paul.
London from 2019 is I would say an equal excitement, not the same location, but an equal excitement. From that, which is kind of like excitement from what happened just a couple of weeks ago at East Point.
Yes, exactly.
It's just another location, another opportunity to serve God and His people and bring folks to Him. So yeah, we're excited about another road trip.
We maybe what we'll do, Paul, is we can just drop hints along the way here until we finally are ready. We have everything officially confirmed. To do everything. Paul and I will be heading to this location later in this year to kind of shore up some stuff. This will be coming for the summer of 2023. So we're excited about that. I don't know what little hint we want to give today, Paul.
And you and I, we really haven't talked about it. We had a ministry board meeting yesterday, and this didn't come up. But I think that we can say, in conjunction with our ministry experience event in May, there is a really good chance that folks could join us on this one.
Yes. I mean, this is definitely one that people can join us.
This is not a John and Paul going on a road trip to go do an event by themselves. We need help. We're going to need some help. And this could be pretty awesome to connect people to it.
Well, Paul, it's interesting that you say that. And for people who are watching, kind of what we're meaning, we have recognized, and we've had to learn on the fly, just like other people have had to learn, and we've had our eyes opened a little bit. Some of the places that we are working at trying to go, especially pre-COVID, isn't necessarily, you can't just take a big youth group to go and be a part of. There has to be some training for as far as cultural things, even when you're talking about Western countries, of just how they respond to Christianity, how they view Americans even in things. And so, but this is a location that we can say people can go with us and be with us on this trip.
And it helps us to share, especially right now, John, the next dimension of what the ministry experience can offer.
Right.
So we're actually offering classes at this event that will help people be better equipped for this trip.
Right.
So to be honest, and this isn't just a way to get folks to come there, but it is the essence of ministry experience this is the doorway to that trip.
Absolutely.
So if you attend this event and you're able to be at these classes and participate in this, it basically gets you in the front of the line to be able to be a part of this. And I can't describe without saying it fully how exciting this is going to be, because when we went to London in 2019, it was just John and I.
Right.
It was just John and I. We went with Helen Milaparthy, and then she had family at that church, and so we went on that trip, and we did the team. We were the team leaders. We were the challenge session teachers. We were the keynotes, and he was a song leader, and they were the song leaders, and they were all involved. But here we're going to need folks with us, and this is where it opens up. Literally, it's opening up, because they're. I just got the email this morning that England and other areas. I don't want to mention the other areas, but that they are now opening up, and so it's this is really really exciting. So this isn't just exciting for John and Paul. This can be exciting for everybody.
Well, and that's what we want to do with the Ministry League experience. It's about teaching and offering opportunities for young people, adults, everybody involved in kingdom work to go. Yes, Brandon, we are saying there's a chance. In fact, Brandon, we cannot say it, but you have located at this place before.
That's right.
Yeah. You have been to this place before. So of course Brandon's been all over, so that could be like 100 different places.
That narrows it down to nowhere.
So
or everywhere.
but yes, Brandon, you have been here before. So that's why we're excited about this, because it can go. But what we learned with London is that, it would have been overload for youth groups to go, because also some of the rules that are within Britain, specifically their side, with England's side, that you can't do, that we expect, like going door knocking, you're not doing that in London, or feeding the homeless, you can't do that in London. So so it is it is going to be exciting, and we cannot wait to share it with you. Let's put it this way. We had a conference call with the minister there at the location Tuesday. Was it, Paul, that we had, or Wednesday?
It was.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yes, Brandon, it really does narrow it down. And I will tell you, so I had a doctor's appointment, so I came in late to the conversation. Paul and him were already talking. And just my 30, 45 minutes of the phone conversation with him, I got seriously encouraged and excited about it. Mm-hmm. And so when I tell you that you just get your heart ready, get that brave heart ready, and be excited about what it can bring.
Shut up. Well, it is an English speaking location, so no one has to learn our language. That makes it easier, because there's a lot of places that we've gone on behalf of the Ministry League and just in our ministries altogether, serving God. We're places where we've preached and we have had to have interpreters.
Good morning, Colin. Yep.
Which goes there. So, but anyway, it's exciting. I think we've said enough today on this. And so it's going to be great. Honestly, John, I'm excited about the prospects of it. I'm excited about being able to go with folks, traveling with people, with Christian brothers and sisters, and but the sitting down with them and talking with them exactly how this is going to go, and to have something, the focus in mind for this. And by the way, this is something you can plan for next summer to fall for your groups,
right?
Just so that it is understood.
We are trying to work on it to be the summer, because so people, school schedules are different in other parts of the country, other parts of the world, and so we are trying to make sure it can line up with what we're doing. And this is not my Airbnb, Brandon. This is my home. This is where I live. That's my piano back there that you see disappearing with my thumb going up over it and everything. So John and Paul to Antarctica. We're working on that. We are working to go down there and talk to the penguins.
And I'm not working on that.
We got Antarctica coming here tonight and tomorrow. So there you go.
That's true.
But yes, we're excited, and we will be talking more about it. Either will be released on this show, or probably will be released definitely by the time we get to the Ministry League experience.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I don't know if I can keep it quiet till then.
Oh, you can't keep it that long.
I can't.
Is there a church in Antarctica, Brandon? You would know.
Oh, there is. I'm sure there is. Okay. But yeah, we'll try. But it does. It would be awesome to be able to have y'all there in May. So keep that in mind. And real quick, and this wasn't meant to be a real long show today, but we do want to. The next segment of this kind of is to mark your calendars. We're not looking at. It is May 26th is our Creators Conference. If you've seen our flyer, it says calling all creators, but it's calling all creators, all ministers, all ministry leaders. And an opportunity to be a part of that at Piedmont Road. The flyer says Atlanta. That's the area, but it is Marietta, Georgia, at Piedmont Road, and we're looking forward to having folks there for that special afternoon and evening together. Dinner will be served, and the way to register for that will be on our website at ministryleague.com. Registration opens April 1st, and then the Navigate conference that helps us to give more information to our adults, to our teenagers, to everyone coming, is from Friday all the way through Sunday morning. So also registration on April 1st for that. Please make your plans. It's going to be a special time. We're looking forward to having you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to say more about the Creators Conference, but that's one I want to specifically point out with the Creators Conference. If you're interested in creators, if you're interested in knowing how the church can do more things more effectively involving that, whether it's graphics, whether it's video, whether it is anything, even organizational wise, that's what we are calling out for. This is a conference that is specifically for those that are interested in it. You may not have any experience in it whatsoever, but you want to. This is going to help you on that. If you're doing that, we're bringing people in, and we want to build on this every year to help expand your thought processes, expand your mind to be able to reach people in new and exciting ways. So that's what we're real excited about, and we'll talk more about that along with the Navigate side of the conference in the future.
It's going to be great. I'm glad you mentioned that too, because it is for everybody, and it's for everybody to become a creator, to become a connector of people.
I have people texting me, Paul, trying to guess where we're going.
Yeah.
No, Landon. It's not what you just said.
What did he say?
He said Italy.
Okay. So
that would have been a good guess for Brandon being attached to it. So yeah, but
it would. All right. So we've talked about some events. What you got, John?
I just saw that. It said overhead projectors for the win.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we talked about current events. We talked about the ministry experience. We talked about the new location that John and I will be visiting later in the year, but we'll have this event next year. Look forward to y'all being a part of it. And the last part of what we want to share today basically is sort of the third leg of the, how to recruit volunteers in ministry, not just youth ministry, but in general in ministry. And I had a really good talk with, spent some good time with Jerry Elder. Last weekend. Was it last weekend? Was that last weekend or 2 weekends ago?
2 weekends ago.
2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
And I got to say, I want to send a big shout out and thanks to Larry Davenport and JJ, and of course, Matt Hupel and Josh and the crowd that puts on CYC. We had a wonderful time. We enjoyed it. Our table for Ministry League, thousands of people came by. They love stickers. But we were able to communicate with people about our event and what's going on and how we can help better minister to people. And so I just want to do a big thank you for that. Of course, Dale being the MC and John being one of the song leaders. Of course, Izzy's the other one. And just really appreciate all y'all and all the work you do to put into it. Had a great event. Enjoyed that. But we want to get into as part of that weekend, me and Jerry sat down for a little bit. He talked to me kind of how he handles his volunteers, his parents, when he goes on big trips like that. And I wish we could pop him up and let him talk to us here, but yeah. Thank you.
Yes, Brandon, you did great.
Well, you have to see his booth to see how.
Oh man, for sure.
It is. But Jerry shared something with us as we were talking about this very topic about how he handles it. So let's recap. Because we let this go on for about 4 or 5 weeks on 3 points, but we had our East Point discussion last week, and really appreciate everybody's comments on that. The first week of April, we're going to bring a couple of teenagers in on the show that's going to share with you their view of how East Point went and their experiences as well. So we look forward to that at a later date. But we talk about how to recruit adults, how to empower, how to equip them. And today we're going to talk about how to empower, how to make them feel special, how to put them in a place where you'll want to have return on your volunteer working. And so we kind of started that with the 3 things when it comes to the recruiting part, which was fortify your ask, make it strong, let them fit a spot, not just teach a class. We talked about also the zero entry pool. We talked about how that you start slow and move gradually into the deep end. Don't just jump in the deep end. As far as volunteers go, if you're in ministry, that's pretty easy because you hopefully have the experience to deal with that. But volunteers are different. And then, of course, we finished that up by saying, be excellent. when you have a ministry, do it right, organize it properly, where people will want to be a part of a successful story. So that was the recruiting part of that, John.
Absolutely. And that's really the basis when you're talking about volunteers is asking, getting people involved, getting them to see the vision, and showing them that how much they're needed and how much the value of what we're influencing them and being a part of really is the key of volunteering and asking for people to volunteer. People want to know, is what they're doing worth it? And how can they help be a part of it?
That's right.
And that's what we have seen. It doesn't matter if it's in youth ministry. It doesn't matter if it's in whatever side of ministry you want to call. They want to see the value in it.
That's absolutely true. And then, of course, we entered that after that, we talked about how to equip them. You must love them, number one. You got to love your people. First and foremost, you got to love them. You got to love them. You got to love the teenagers, love the people as part of your ministry. And then you got to make sure and use their talents. Find what they're good at. Let them find success with what they have. And then with that, you get the next point, which was, offer some positive reinforcements. And creating that positive atmosphere. Nobody wants to be a negative Nancy. So we want to make sure and keep things all vibing right. And then, of course, give them purpose. Give them, this is why we do what we do. And make sure they understand that. And then doing that brings in the next point, which was the creating the teamwork thing. Working together breeds that number 6 part, which was to lead them to success. And so that was the big thing on the equipping them, the recruiting them. And then today, John, we're going to talk about how to empower them in the proper way.
Yeah. And Paul, before we get into there's one that I love, the key thing that you said in there, I believe it's number 2, the talent, recognizing where their talent is and putting them in there. And it sounds so, I'm sure when people are watching this, they're sitting there saying, well, duh, of course you put people where their talent is, but it would, it may shock you that for years, especially what's funny within church, we didn't do that.
Yeah,
we didn't do that. We were putting people over things that had no experience or talent with it whatsoever. And I'm not saying they did a bad job by any means, but putting them in the right place to be successful is what it is. I love what Brandon said here. When you have that clearly stated vision, it shows that you're part of being this team and part of what you're doing. And so I love it. And Jerry sitting here, reward them. They may not like testing, but they might do it better. Give them that encouragement, like you said. I think about when Jesus talked to the 7 churches of Asia, except for Laodicea. That's a different story. But every single one of them, he gave them positive reinforcement first before doing something else. And I think that's a lesson that we need to all take to heart.
You're right. He did do that. Of course, Laodicea, they were a little on the fence, so we couldn't get that one. Nothing? Okay. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So reading other stuff. Okay, yeah. So here we go. So my conversation with Jerry kind of comes right into this whole thing about empowering our volunteers. And so he was talking about CYC. They bring 2,000 or 3,000 people to CYC. And he
somewhere along there.
Couple hundred for real. It's a big group. And he basically says, I put my parents in charge. And Jerry, feel free to pop in here, and Caleb, if you can get him on here, let's do it. But it's one of those things to where let them have responsibility. That way Jerry's able to do the ministry that he needs to do when a parent has jobs to do around about with the group. Because the big group like that, an event like that, when a lot of free time going on, you need to have folks responsible for things. And I think it's a good way to go.
Well, Travis, and if you could, Caleb, throw that back up there, what Travis had just said is, especially when you're talking about big groups and things, is that there's clear expectations, understanding what they're part of. I don't think people have a problem being a part of it, but they just don't know where to be a part of it. And it doesn't matter whatever we're talking about. If we're talking about in the church volunteer relationship, if you're talking about in a husband-wife relationship, if you're talking about in an employee-employer relationship, having that clear understanding of what the expectations are and everything else goes a long way. And what you're talking about, and I'm glad Jerry's a part of this, because Jerry's been doing this for years and really been in there and kind of the guru of, especially within youth ministry, of how to get it. He couldn't have sustained this all this time by himself. It would have burned out. There would have been all these things, but having these volunteers to go on and understanding is what allows what we saw a couple weekends ago to take place. Is what allows what your church is. It helps them grow and everything else. Yeah. And so this is kind of what we're talking about, is really empowering people where it's not a one-man job or one-woman job. This is everybody getting involved and being a part of it.
Well, the last thing you want to have is an adult standing in the corner doing nothing with arms.
Right.
Then all they're doing is observing things and taking notes of things. Well, you should have done this, you should have done that, you should have done this. When someone comes up to you and says, you really should give this a shot, well, you should turn around and say, that's a really good idea. Would you like to do that?
And you know what's funny, Paul, is when that happens, and you get the person kind of sitting back here like this.
Yeah.
That's actually when problems come, because then they're sitting here watching all these things, looking for every little things. And then sometimes it jumps in and it causes more problems within the group.
Not to bring the evil one in, but an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So,
sure.
So let's keep them busy. And that's the first one, really, when it comes to empowering your volunteers, is give them opportunities to help. Let them feel like they're a part of things. If it means setting up chairs, ask them to set up chairs. But it kind of goes back with the talent too. There's something they're good at. Let them have the job that personifies the strength of those talents in being able to help in that area.
Paul, you really just said something there a second ago. I'm afraid that, especially probably in our early days when we were involved in youth ministry, those late 90s, early 2000 days in youth ministry, and maybe even before, I'm afraid that volunteers were, well, we had to have somebody else go with us to either appease the elders or to appease rules of where we were going.
Yeah.
And it's almost like we didn't want them there.
Right.
Because of everything. And so, but I think what we've learned is you can't just do this all by yourself. And that we've got to allow people to do this. And what we have found is, Paul, that, because how many ministers do you know, no matter what part of ministry they're part of, are burning out, are stressing, are having to go on antidepressants and things like that, which we're not saying anything bad about that, but because of the stress and because of everything that's upon them, it's because they're taking everything upon themselves. I love what Brandon says. Everyone must have a role. No job's too small.
Right.
No job's too small.
Yeah, and you said something there that kind of got me thinking when it comes to the volunteers and where they are. That and it kind of leads us to our second thing. And
Jerry's here.
Well, we'll do that later, I guess.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Jerry, it's good to have you.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Good. We just got started here. Glad you're with us. Well, mentioned some things that you had shared with us, but we'd like to give you the floor here if you got a second to share some vast wisdom there.
Well, wisdom might be a minor word. Been listening to everything. All the points are fantastic, excellent. All the comments coming in from all the other guys that, in my opinion, are also very much probably more experts than I am in this area. But when you talk about empowering your volunteers, you got to let them work. And I was at the youth revival youth minister at Graymere Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week. And so many of these young guys, and I'm sorry, I'll call you young guys because I'm old and I can. They
you heard that right.
That's right. They need to learn to, and I'm going to say this as wise as I can, let go of your ego. Let go. We are not know-alls. We are not know-it-alls. We are learning. I am still learning. In fact, the best learning I've taken, and I'm going to give you one example of something that happened to me probably 15 years ago. good friend of mine, Larry Mara, was a member at the congregation I was with at the time, came up to me and he said secretly to me, Jerry, cheating me out of serving God. And I looked at him and I said, what do you mean, Larry? He says, I want to drive bus. And I'm thinking, well, if you want to drive the bus, that's fine. No, he goes, you don't understand. I want to drive the bus for every occasion. And if you've got more, and if we've got more, I want to take charge of that. From that moment till this very time here, I don't drive buses and I don't drive vans to events.
Wow.
I find the people that love to do this work and let them. Do they always go the direction I want to go down the road? No. But they're doing it. I get to be with the kids. And one of the things we've got to do as ministers is we've got to let go and let people do the work. It may cost us a little more. It may cost us a little less. I don't know. But let people do the work. And when they do the work, thank the good Lord you got them. Because I've been in the situation, you guys have too, when you've had to do it all because no one was there to help.
That's right.
You know, Jerry, you said something there that I think's really stuck out, and probably a lot of people, especially that do get in ministry, and it kind of goes with what Brandon had just said about it not being about youth ministry is not about the youth minister. It's about, you know, helping kids, and in general. I wonder sometimes if us as ministers, we do kind of struggle a little bit with the ego thing of, well, it's about me. And we have like a savior complex of trying, whether it's kids, whether it's the members of our churches or whatever, and trying to be that person to try to save everybody. And that our egos get in the way of letting other people be a part of ministry, and that we all have a role to play in this kingdom work.
So a question I have, who do you guys remember growing up at your churches as being influential to you as a mentor / you guys didn't have youth ministers either.
No.
Now that wasn't allowed yet.
Yeah. That was back in the day.
That's back in the dark ages.
Gary Elder, so we didn't know what to do.
So, I mean,
and I'm from Florida, so you know what that means.
Who was it? It was people in your congregation.
Yeah.
It was your junior high Bible school teacher that you thought was ancient of days, but he really wasn't but about 42 years old. And and those are the individuals.
Yes.
You know I'm right, John.
Yeah, you are. That's the problem.
You know I'm right. We all thought those guys were like ancient.
Right.
And they were younger than us.
You're right. They were. Unfortunately.
So it's that same type of mentality. When young people come back to the church, who do they look for? They look for the people that influenced them. Mm-hmm. They'll remember the van driver. They'll remember the cook. They'll remember all of these things. If we if we make this a team ministry,
that's right.
They'll remember everybody. I want them to remember the Lord's people.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Jerry, appreciate you, man. Appreciate your words. This is awesome.
Love you guys, and we do this for the Lord. And you know, this is bringing glory to God. Mm-hmm. And let people don't spoil someone of their joy.
Right.
Don't, it's like if you buy a meal for someone says, oh, yeah, I don't want you to do that. If you use that line, don't take my joy away from me.
That is such a huge point that I think maybe we miss in ministry as a whole is letting people be a blessing, letting people do that and be work, and that we do need to learn. And I think I don't know many ministers, and I know there are some, but I don't know many ministers that are like, oh, it's all about me. It's all about me. That none of them that I know of that I am close to would say that, but maybe in our actions we do and everything. And so I love that point in that Travis in here with the return to intergenerational ministry.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I have people that go I have people that go on our trips that don't have kids in the youth group.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I have. I'm just give the rundown of CYC.
Mm-hmm.
I have 6 van drivers. That's all they do is drive. They don't chaperone. I have 6 chaperones in van. That's all they do is chaperone each vehicle. I have chaperones for the chalets that we're in. I have a person that cooks. I have 2 people that cook. I have a person that all they do is get our tickets. I have a person that all they do is reserve our chalets. That's because that's what they love to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and it's already set for next year, 2023.
Wow.
And they come up to me and say, this is done, this is done, this is done. And I go, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will buy them a meal. I will buy them a good meal. And
That's good.
Our elders do that.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to reward.
That's true. Awesome.
Yep.
Thanks, Jerry. You're
Thanks,
welcome
guys.
to.
Thank y'all for letting me share for a few moments.
Absolutely,
Appreciate
brother.
you. We'll see you
All right.
soon.
See y'all soon. Take care. I'm out of here. Going to Kentucky.
Awesome. Be careful.
Yeah,
All
be
right,
careful.
guys.
Don't get snowed in.
Yeah, I know.
It's going
See, I
north.
love y'all.
Well, I love you too. John, so continuing the conversation is number 2 is the volunteers need to be appreciated.
Yeah.
Because quite frankly, they're dealing with things at home and we don't have no clue what's going on, but we appreciate the time they put in, the time they bring in, and we just need to make sure, let them know that just to say thank you.
Right. Very much so. I don't know of anybody that I've ever worked with that is not willing to bend over and do whatever they need to do and help. But people are quick to not feel appreciated
Right.
after doing all of this and stretching all of this and doing it for maybe weeks, years, all in. Just say thank you.
Yeah.
Just say thank you. And that sometimes that's all you need to do.
Absolutely. The next one is the fact that volunteers need to be prepared. You can't make a cake without a mixer. And so we need to make sure and have the proper tools ahead of time for them to do stuff. Sometimes as a youth minister, you need to have if it's a devotional, have everything you need to have devotional happen. If it's a game, have all the stuff ready for them, and all they got to do is come in and
Yep.
make it happen. And if it's teaching classes, have the curriculum prepared. Work on it. If you don't have it, give us a call. We got some stuff for you.
We got a little bit. We got a few things in there.
A little bit of stuff there.
We do.
So I think preparation is important.
Absolutely, it's important, Paul, because without it, things fall apart. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
That's really the reality.
And then the 4th thing, we got a couple more here left for volunteers. They need feedback. They need to know that what they're doing is they're on the right track. It kind of goes with the appreciated thing, but it's also, how do you get a win? What's the discussion? How do you see where things are going well? Well, if a kid goes from saying nothing to suddenly they're leading a song, or they're leading in some kind of ministry opportunity within the youth group, and they've had an influence on that kid, that's the win. We see teenagers in leadership, or you see adults in leadership because of things they've done. It really sends a message of I'm on the right track. It's working out for me.
Mm-hmm. I do. And without it, Paul, we can't improve.
Yeah, that's true.
We can't improve. And I think that's what we're all looking for within all this. And I know we don't have a lot of time to dig more into this because we coming up on the hour here. But without this, you can't see where maybe things can be improved, where maybe we can be more efficient, and just maybe where we're making mistakes.
Right. No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Because you can't better yourself if you're not instructed.
Yep.
One way or the other.
Correct.
On that. The last one is kind of gets to that very thing, is opportunities for training. Spend time with your adults, especially if you're dealing with youth ministry. Spend time with your adults, any ministry really, in preparation, but also in sitting down and offering maybe a blog post. It may be a book they may need to read. It may be just a website to check out, or even a conference to take them to learn how to do ministry a little bit better.
You know what? I was having this conversation the other day, and good leaders train people to try to become better than them.
Mhm.
And you want to see your people grow. And therefore, in fact, as a leader, that is your biggest probably sell on how you are as a leader. It's not about the things you've accomplished individually, but it's about the others and where they have come from. And
Right.
so if it's just little something like that, Paul, like you're saying, whether it's a blog post, maybe it is just something a little bit to read. It's not necessarily, like Jerry was talking about, I'm sure he doesn't have to get somebody down in here and say, okay, here's what we're needing you to do. Here's how you order a chalet for when we're going to CYC.
Yeah.
No, but in how to improve in themselves and everything. And I love that point, Paul, because that is something I think that is missed out, because we automatically think when we say training, okay, well, the teacher is going to get up there and they're going to teach something biblical and here, blah, 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 blah. There's more than that.
You're right. And I think as part of that too is talking over the vision with them. Let them know what the end game looks like when you start, because it's like, otherwise it's like, what do we do? Hands in the air. What do I do? How do I handle this? Well, tell them that there's a pathway, and explain to them what the pathway looks like.
Yep.
It kind of goes back to what Brandon mentioned earlier. The youth minister is not a savior, but he mentioned something about the sycamore tree. He raises them up, gives them opportunities. So let's give people Let's give people opportunities. Number 6 and final is the most important, and that is we need to pray for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Never forget to pray for volunteers, pray for their families, pray for their health, and pray for their impact in the lives of those they're working with in that ministry that you're dealing with at that time, for sure.
Yeah. And Paul, we've got Brandon just threw in here, when people know the why, they'll understand better the what.
Sure.
That is so clear, man. That's a whole other topic we could really get into.
Yep.
And that goes back to the valuing and understanding why they are needed, and showing them the purpose of why they are needed. But yeah, Paul, praying for them, praying for everybody that's involved. Without it, we can't. We have nothing. We've got to have that behind us.
I want to thank everybody for joining us for the segments of these 3 things about volunteers. I think it's pretty solid, as far as not just the points we brought to everybody, but also everything that everybody added to it. That is what makes this a special show, the fact that it is live. Mm-hmm. Some of us occasionally get a little sidetracked with our conversations, but
what are you talking about?
Good conversations.
I never get sidetracked.
And no, you never do. But honestly, it is good. It is good. And we have it depicted this way. There's also a lot of things, I want to say this publicly, and I'll let Caleb share what Caleb wants to share. But a lot of things that happen during this show really aren't planned, and we bring it up during the show, and he does things to bring it to light. Yep. And so I'm really thankful for the work that Caleb does and his ability with our network for Ministry League, but also specifically the John Paul Show. And
stop it!
It means a lot. It does. It means a lot.
You make us look good. I mean, look, I am in my beautiful living room here, and Paul's blurred out. I mean,
I'm in a fuzzy, blurry room.
So, yeah. Absolutely. And Brandon, yes, it is live. And this is why we like it. Paul and I think we've talked about, do we record one? We do it.
Yeah,
and we like the idea of being like this because of the interaction with everybody, and because Paul, kind of like what Jerry said, it's not about an ego. It's not about that we have all the answers. It's about leading into these discussions. And so
it's a community, John.
Caleb is the wizard.
We bring folks in our community and that they help us in sending the message out. Hopefully folks will listen to this. What we do want to ask you to do, and we don't ask this much, we should ask this more, go down to the bottom corner here and click share, and just share this everywhere you can, because we really want to reach out to folks. We want as many people involved in what the message we want to share, but also the Ministry League in and of itself. Thousands of people I know use the app because they came by the table a couple weeks ago and told me they did, but some folks don't. In fact, the gentleman we spoke to on Wednesday about this upcoming work mentioned the app. I mean, they're using it where they are, and so they already know the work we're a part of. And as part of that too, and I know I didn't get on him, but I asked John. I said, John, time's getting low here, but and I'm talking, but we have a lot of brilliant people that are watching us, and a lot of good teachers and speakers and preachers, if you have a 4 to 6 week Bible class curriculum or even 13-week, send us some stuff. Let us load it up on our website and our app and share it with the world so they can have some good solid material to have. That's a big part of what we do. The only way for us to be successful is to be ever growing. And I will end it with this. And this wasn't planned, but I've got to mention it because we did have a meeting yesterday. As you probably know, website and the app are free. And it's free because we're putting our funds and our time into doing this. We do ask if you'd like to make a donation to Ministry League, please let us know. Send me an email at paul@ministryleague.com, or you can send it to john@ministryleague.com, and let us know. We would love to for you to be able to be a part of this and help us as we go forward in this. John, what's you got?
You know what? I think you said it all, Paul. We're just glad that all of you are here. We couldn't know you us being here if you weren't here. And we're just glad, and we hope that everybody, that this just helps a little bit. And that's all we hope with this show. And, if it wasn't for Paul pushing, he's kind of the leader that pushes us to go, probably wouldn't be here. So, Paul, there's your patting you on the back for everything right there.
You too, John Boy. I wouldn't do it without you.
Whatever. I'm just here in my house.
And Brandon, we love you too. Big time.
Yeah, we do.
Big time.
We'll be calling you soon, Brandon, by the way.
We will. And John, I do like your house. It's really nice.
Yeah.
I want to do a shout out for the Calhoun Church of Christ for allowing John to do what he does with us. I'd like to thank the Piedmont Road Church of Christ, definitely for loving me and my family and allowing us to do what we do. And of course, on behalf of Caleb and LJ and all the works that he'll be a part of, you know who you are. We appreciate you and all that you do. For Caleb and John Podine, I am Paul Spurlin. This has been the John and Paul Show. Go to ministryleague.com, check out everything. Registration for the event starts in April 1, and get all the resources there and the app and everything on social media at Ministry League. Again, this has been the John and Paul Show. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.